Oh, how I have missed Kaguya-sama Love is War. Season 2 has officially arrived for Spring of Anime 2020, and honestly, with a season full of a bunch of delays, cancellations, and not really knowing when some series might come back, it's nice to know that Kaguya-sama Love is War is airing this season, because it's something I needed. It's a really good show, and honestly, it has those same vibes, everything you know and love from Season 1 in Season 2's first episode, and watching this episode put a huge smile on my face. So, just as a brief FYI, if this is your first time ever hearing about Kaguya-sama Love is War, and like the first time you ever seen one of my videos basically on the series, all I'm going to say is if you love romance, if you love funny comedy, etc., I really recommend you to stop what you're doing and watch this series. It's fantastic, it's funny, and honestly, it's a very popular series for a good reason because of just how great it really is. So, enough with that. Let's get right into it. So, Kaguya-sama has had a long break. It's been a while since the last episode came out. It was like, oh man, it came out last year, early last year, I believe, like in 2019. It's been a long time, a lot has happened since then, and I'm just glad to finally see the series back because, I mean, I really, really love myself a good romance, and especially comedy, and I think many know that romance is one of those type of genres that I really do crave and enjoy, but I don't usually go out of my way and talk about them all the time, because, I mean, usually I love discussing thought-provoking stuff, like, let's say, like, psychological, like, you know, development stuff where characters going through a lot of things, but Kaguya-sama is kind of like one of those series I can't help but talk about. I need to talk about it, and I love each individual episode so much, and the comedy is just right where it hits every single, like, I guess, nail on the head, where I just love it so much, and that's what this is. So, I mean, obviously, if you're a big fan of the series, you're gonna enjoy this episode a lot. There's a lot of great moments between Kaguya and Shirogane, and how they have their little awkward interactions with each other. There's so many great moments. I honestly don't know what is actually my favorite moment of the episode, but I do know one thing. One of the moments that really got a good chuckle, actually there was a lot of moments that got a good chuckle from me, but one moment that in particular that I really loved was the final part of the episode, like one of the final segments where Kaguya is playing the board game that Fujiwara created with the entirety of the student council, and you have it to where Shirogane, he marries Fujiwara, and as they're like together and all that, having a bunch of kids, and you have the commentary from Fujiwara's like, oh man, you're, even though I'm a mother a teen mother and all that, she has like 9 kids. I'm like, holy crap. And you just see Kaguya, she's getting richer and richer, she's getting this money flow and all that. I'm just like, holy crap. So she's getting that bank flow, and all of a sudden towards the end of the board game, since they reach the old age, you have it to where Kaguya's like, I have all this money, but I'm lonely, I feel emptiness. And honestly, it's hilarious because it's a good analogy for real life, honestly, because people like to say that money can get you anything, and I'll be honest, money is very important in today's society. It's really important. You need money to be able to even function in this world. However, sometimes money can't do certain things. Money can't technically buy full-on happiness. It can get you there, but it can't always make you happy, and in this case, that's kind of what was happening. Kaguya got all the money in the board game, but she wasn't happy because she didn't get with the person she really wanted to be with. She'd rather have, you know, been living in, like, you know, I guess a small studio apartment with, you know, Shirogane on the board game than actually being rich and being a #1 corporation on the board game. It puts everything in perspective, and I just really do love these little inside looks. I mean, it's very, I guess, on the nose, like, you really know exactly what they were trying to say in that moment, but I do love this little comedy, and I do love just the, you know, I guess, commentary on just how sometimes money is, and you can't necessarily always be happy if you have, like, millions upon millions, and you're richer than anyone else. But okay, backing up for a second, though, the reason why I love that scene so much besides that is because once they get to a certain segment, you have it to where Fujiwara, she actually gets a divorce card and divorces Shirogane on the board game, and Kaguya's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna get to marry this man, because she lands on a marriage space, and she's like, I want to marry him. And, you know, FYI, if you remember, the main objective of this series is for Kaguya and Shirogane to get together one day. They're playing pranks on each other, romantic pranks and all that, to make one or the other basically admit that they love each other and they want to go out, and, you know, obviously, we're probably going to get that towards the ending of the series. We know what's going to happen, it's the journey to that point, and it's interesting that they want to be together, and you see how one thing stops them. Kaguya got a card that says she distrusts all men. Like, she doesn't trust any men whatsoever, which basically meant that she couldn't be with Shirogane, so the closest person that she could marry was Fujiwara, and I had to take a moment to laugh really hard, because it was just hilarious by the way it was done, how the cuteness was built up, and then all of a sudden Fujiwara, this unstoppable force, basically comes in and just destroys the entire plan. I really love her. Chika is just an amazing character, and I think many grew very fond of her in the first season, especially after the Chica dance that really, made a lot of waves in the first season. But, backing up for a second, though, okay, so there is something that does need to be talked about, which I feel like many are going to kind of glance over and not really think too much about, and that is Hayasaka. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. It's been a while, so if I mispronounce any names, please forgive me. But Hayasaka, which is technically like the maid/helper to Kaguya, she had quite a crucial role at the beginning of this episode. She was having to stop others from entering into the student council room. Now, obviously, the situation that Kaguya found herself in with, Shirogane kind of falling asleep on her shoulder, and she was just stuck being, petrified, didn't want to really move him, etc. It's a very cute scene, obviously, but Hayasaka having to do what she did, it really just goes to show the burden and stress she has on her to pretty much protect Kaguya, to do what she wants. Like, honestly, just take a moment to imagine if you were Hayasaka, Kaguya's maid, and having to help her out and do whatever she wants on a whim. I couldn't imagine just how much of a headache you would get. I mean, Hayasaka probably has it really rough. I hope she's getting paid a lot. She better be getting paid a lot for how much effort she has to go through just to make sure Kaguya is actually happy. But okay, I just think Hayasaka is a great character. She's a great assist character, and I don't think she gets enough respect that she deserves. I really do think she deserves a lot of respect. Okay, so, to get into it, I guess one of the big points that I think is great about this, though, is that this episode, it does have a little bit more of a cutesier tone to it compared to the very angry-looking Kaguya. Now, there was a few moments where Kaguya looked like she was like a demon/angry, but overall, it seemed like she was very cutesy towards Shirogane a lot more than she was in the first season. Most likely, it's because of the growth and progression they had in the, the ending of the first season with the fireworks, which has probably led to this type of situation. I do hope, since we have had obviously some regression between the characters, that we're not going to kind of reset that progression and just stay on a loop that's the same thing every single episode. I would love to see that progression. I do hope that actually happens, but we'll see where the story takes us. But for now, though, Kaguya-sama, Love is War, fantastic show. I love it. And I think many can agree with me, it's just a nice series to see for this spring of anime, because it's just like, there's so many cancellations, so much lack of anime, with ReZero canceled, to Sword Art Online's continuation, to Snafu Season 3, and countless other series I'm not even mentioning. There's so many series that have been delayed, and I'm glad this series didn't. I'm really happy, but there is something that needs to be considered. It's possible that the series still can be delayed as time progresses, because if you remember from the previous season of anime, Railgun, that came out, it got delayed many episodes back to back thanks to everything going on, so it's very likely that something like that could happen to every series that airs this season. So I do hope Kaguya doesn't fall into that, but obviously if there is delays, I think many are going to kind of understand that. It makes sense, and the safety of the workers, etc. matter a whole lot more than an anime, but that's just my, 2 cents. So yeah, overall, my thoughts on the beginning of Season 2, I think it's great. It has beautiful animation art, just like as always. I love the music, I love the tone of it, the voice actors coming back for the roles, and really just nailing the characters. I just love the life this series brings, and I just love the mood it puts me in when I actually finish the episode and the episode comes to a close. It's one of those series that, honestly, you can either watch starting your day to put yourself in a good mood, or you watch it at the end of the day to really just end the day off on a really good note. That's what Kaguya-sama Love is War is, and I couldn't ask for more. I also think it's very fitting that we go back to one of the major subplot points in the first season with the secondary male and female character and how they got together thanks to Kaguya and Shirogane, and how we get to see how their relationship has really progressed to a whole new level, and you don't really know how far they have really gone in the relationship just because of how they were interacting within this episode. But regardless of that, it's hilarious. It was a great scene, and I'm glad that was added in. It kind of just shows that their characters have really progressed to a whole other level, and that, honestly, if Kaguya and Shirogane took their advice, their own advice, you know, they would probably be at the same level as they currently are. But okay, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, stay healthy. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below and tell me your thoughts on how you felt about this episode. What was your favorite moment and what was your least favorite moment? And are you excited to see the continuation of Kaguya-sama? But with that, I love you guys. Chibi out.